Thika town was one of the most recognizable names during the colonial times of Kenya, thanks to the eloquent memoir The Flame Trees of Thika by Elspeth Huxley. Many know it as the home of the majestic 14 falls, where one can have the most beautiful views of the falls as they ride a boat. But local and international tourism is not the only thing Thika town offers. In the developing town of Thika, as much as businesses are setting up, there is the fine smell of opportunity, which individuals like Steve Njoro are capitalizing on.
My name is Stephen Thika Njoro. Currently I'm doing agribusiness together with my family and a few other staff. We are just doing a bit of farming. We call it, I say agribusiness because alongside poultry, we are also doing other farming, pig farming. We are also doing dairy cows and a bit of farming on the shamba. And we've done this for a few years, and now we've decided now to go full into agribusiness. I can say first of all, I think it's just the passion, because my father used to do farming also. When I was small, we used to have over 30 cows, but he was not doing it like agribusiness. I think for him he was just doing it for fun sort of. But having grown up, seeing what he was doing and liking farming, previously I was also residing in urban, actually, because our family had two homes, this home and another one in Thika town. I was actually educated in town, and most people even wonder how I came to do farming in the rural areas, yet I was brought up in the urban part of my life. But we started small with my wife. She has also a lot of passion in farming. Actually, it was her dream to rear as many poultry, dairy cows. For her, it was a passion, and we started small. We started with 2 cows, then we graduated to about 6 cows, then we came to poultry. We started with 300 at first, and we again extended to 500. Then eventually we decided now to go full into it. After trying other side hustles, other businesses like matatu, and they were a bit stressful. So we decided to go full into agribusiness.
No one achieves greatness by following the crowd. The art of breaking out to stand out is crucial to greatness. Steve could not simply let his dream wither as he broke out from one of the most coveted humanitarian jobs in the continent.
Actually, when I told my boss that I was taking a break to do agribusiness, what he told me is that that's a big risk that I'm taking. But I think having done it small, because I started with a few of them, and I was actually, when we had like 500 poultry, we were gaining more from poultry than what we were gaining from 2 matatus, and yet they were stressful. So we decided, why not do away with this one which is stressful and concentrate with what we love and what has good returns. And also, it's something that we both love, especially my wife. Actually, I just started being here full-time from January. But she's the one who's been managing the farm almost in the last 5 years. First of all, I was working far from home, and then we just lost our mom around a few months ago, and we had other administrative roles that we wanted to take, and we wanted to be closer to our family. And like I've said, I have a lot of passion in farming. And I remember, like, when we used to share, when we go for like workshops and we share what is your passion, what do you love, and I would say farming, people would say, what is this? So anyway, for me, most people thought it was like I was being foolish. But I said sometimes you have to take risks, and to get rich you have to risk getting poorer. So, and I really, when I was starting, actually, when I was telling people this is the amount of money I'm intending to input into agribusiness, most of them would say, why can't you invest that money elsewhere? But it's not been easy. I cannot say it's been easy. but I can see I'm almost there and where I had targeted to be, and I'm hopeful that God willing, I will eventually get to what the dream that I had dreamt. I will eventually get there. For me, I wanted to have like at least 2,000 poultry, 6 hybrid cows, and like 50 pigs, and do well in my shamba, and at least concentrate with that for now. But I said I will start small because currently some people are doing modern houses, poultry houses. Nowadays they even automated feeders. But me, I started small because I did not want to spend so much before I see the returns. Then after now I start seeing the returns, where I see myself in the near future, maybe even doing my own feeds, maybe building modern poultry houses, because this one are old school, a bit old school. But for me, I'm okay because they're giving returns. I'm okay with them. This one, yes, but the others that I started with the ground floor. Then after doing the first 500, we decided now we have to renovate and do it afresh so that we can accommodate more. So we started with that one that you can see down there. That is the one that we started with. Then we did ground for 500, and then later we did the first floor. Then eventually now we did this one, but this one we did it combined, which can accommodate at least 1,200 poultry. Because normally the requirement is that you do at least 1 square feet. Although, like me, I had done 1 square feet, and you find birds are squeezed. So for me, I'm now trying to do 2 square feet per bird. So we did this one, and then later we renovated also the cow shed, and we built a poultry house on top of it. And now going forward, God willing, we also intend to renovate where we have the pigs, so that we can also have poultry on top, and then pigs on the ground, so that at least we can accommodate as many, and yet we are utilizing the space, the little space that we have.
Indeed, it was a risk that had to be taken. Poultry farming in Kenya is usually divided into 3 parts: for meat, eggs, or both. The question as to what will fit Steve best lingered in his mind until he finally chose to go with layers.
For eggs here is good. I cannot complain. And now I've lately started marketing online. So I wanted to do layers because it's easier to market them. But for broilers, I know people who do them, and they really go through a lot of struggles. Unless you have a market somewhere, it's a bit tricky. It can be tricky. And then they are very fragile. And here, sometimes you'll hear noise from vehicles, from everything. So I did not want to do broilers because they are a bit vulnerable. And for the layers, I specifically do two breeds, which with time and with experience I've learned that they are very handy, and they are also very marketable. By the time they are egg layers, they are big enough and they have good weight. So selling them is not also a problem, because usually they go to about 1.5 years to about 2 years. And then after now they are not laying well, then now you can sell them as egg layers. So I chose specifically, for me, I do Moguko and Kenchik. Yeah. I have dealt with other companies, I won't mention them, but I was not very happy with them. So, because the percentage, actually layers, the hybrid layers, they are supposed to do at least 90%. And if they go so down, at least 85%. And then also they are supposed to lay eggs for the next 1 year. At least they should be at the peak if you're feeding them well. But now the others, you will feed them, they'll take so much time before they start laying. And then others will extend up to 6 months before they start laying. When they start laying, you'll only get 20% or 30%. and then you end up making a lot of losses.
Layer poultry farming, in simple terms, is raising egg-laying poultry birds for the sole purpose of commercial egg production. Layers are such a special species of hens which need to be raised right from when they're 1 day old, as they start laying eggs commercially from 18 to 19 weeks of age. They remain laying their eggs continuously until they are 72 to 78 weeks of age. This is where the layer is now said to retire. But before we get into all that, let's find out what mistakes Steve did when he decided to get into this type of farming and how he learned from them.
Okay, there are quite a number. Okay, like for instance, I had, you know, when you read the books too much, you see like a bird, when it's small, it's supposed to take about 60 grams per day. And then when you get into it, when you do your math, like when I was starting this one, I had, in the money I had kept aside, I had estimated that at least it would last this poultry up to the end. So, and I had also estimated that with the cows, at least the milk we are selling will sustain them for a while. But then when you do it practically, you realize there are other hindrances like the weather. For instance, like I have about 1,500 layers that are, we call them starters. They are growers. They are supposed to be starting to lay eggs. But now, because of the cold weather, there has been a bit of a delay. And then they also eat a lot because they have to eat so much so that they can maintain the body metabolism and everything before now they start making the eggs. So the way sometimes some things like the weather, which I had not predicted that it would be that bad. Then we also we've also lost some birds as a result of like when we were having a lot of the heavy rains, I think last month, because most of them would get scared because here it would really rain and rain under the roof, and some of them would run to one corner, they step on one another. So those are some of the things. I think going forward, maybe those are some of the things I learned. And the other thing was, okay, having been away for some time, even if almost all weekends I was around and for seeing this, sometimes I would expect that what I see in the other world, in the other professionalism world, is what is here on the ground. But sometimes you find the world here is a bit different. When you're selling milk, you have to really follow up some things. I remember I actually bought a cow and it came here, and a few days it died. So those are some of the things you learn that out here it's different from the professional world. Because when you're working with the professionals, it's a bit different. You expect them to be a bit, at least to be a bit professional. But here, some things you have to really micromanage sort of and follow up. So the other mistake I can say that I learned, okay, like the breeds is also very important. When I was doing like the first 300, someone sold to us some chicks from somewhere. I won't mention the company, and kumbe they are very vulnerable, and we lost so many. Then again, there was a time we were doing 1,000 poultry, and only 60% were laying eggs, and then they started laying by the 6th month. So we really spent like 2 months. The estimated time they are supposed to start laying, at least you're supposed to see the first eggs by the 20th week or by 4 months and a half. But now it went up to 6 months. So like 1 month and a half, you're just coughing from your pocket, yet there are no returns. And eventually they never peaked from 60%. So we ended up selling them because they would not, make up. So I also learned that it's very key to really work with the right companies when you're procuring the chicks. Yeah.
There are various requirements for keeping poultry, more so layers. Some of the requirements include the care of the birds, while others such as the poultry coop, the size and how it should be built. Steve gives us the details on what he considered when he started putting up the layers poultry house.
Yeah, okay, this one, yes, but the others that I started with the ground floor. Then after doing the first 500, we decided now we have to renovate and do it afresh so that we can accommodate more. So we started with that one that you can see down there. That is the one that we started with. Then we did ground for 500, and then later we did the first floor. Then eventually now we did this one, but this one we did it combined, which can accommodate at least 1,200 poultry. Because normally the requirement is that you do at least 1 square feet. Although, like me, I had done 1 square feet, and you find birds are squeezed. So for me, I'm now trying to do 2 square feet per bird. So we did this one, and then later we renovated also the cow shed, and we built a poultry house on top of it. And now going forward, God willing, we also intend to renovate the where we have the pigs, so that we can also have poultry on top, and then pigs on the ground, so that at least we can accommodate as many, and yet we are utilizing the space, the literary space that we have. Really had to consider, and the factors that I would really recommend someone to consider. That is, first of all, the right breed, so that at least we can get they can lay in good time and they can lay for long. No, for now I'm not doing any hatching. We usually buy 1-day-old chicks. Then, but brooding, we brood them for the next like 3 weeks, 4 weeks. But we do it manually. There's one house that we use for that specifically. So that and we do it manually. Initially, I was using like there are some specific bulbs that you can use, but one time I did it and it was very expensive. I actually paid a bill of about 12,000 in a month. So we decided to do it the manual way. So we usually brood the manual way. We have geckos, special geckos for brooding. I'll show you later. And we usually do our own brooders. We modify them and we do it the simple way. Here we try to simplify things as possible. We do it the old school way. So long as it's giving us returns, we try to cut down on expenses as much as possible, so long as we don't have mortality for the chicks.
For any farmer who wants to start poultry farming, there are numerous things you have probably been told or even read on the internet. Steve, being the curious man he is, could not resist to research on not only the things to keep in mind, but also the process of starting poultry farming with layers in mind.
First of all, like for us, we buy from a recommended agent who usually does the vaccination on the first day before they come. Then, because that one is very important. And then when they are vaccinated, you carry them, you come with them, and you continue with vaccination weekly up to the time they are 8 weeks or 2 months. So when we bring them here, we usually use those special geckos. I'll show you later. And then we usually make where we are going to brood and spray. There are some specific disinfectants that we use, so that at least we won't have any mortality or any related illness. So we spray, then we prepare, we look for sometimes sawdust. We make the place as warm as possible, because when the chicks are 1 day old up to the time they are 2 months, they should really have a very comfortable environment, especially an environment where they get a lot of warmth. Then when you're using like those geckos, you have to ensure that there is no smoke within the brooder. Then you also have to ensure you feed them well. And literally like the first 4 or 5 days, you have to really keep checking, even at night, so that they don't lie on one another, or so that something doesn't scare them and then they go and press on one side and kill others. So we usually, it's a bit cumbersome kidogo when they are in the first week, but after 2 weeks, when they now have grown wings and good feathers, at least now you can relax, and we now look at them and manage them for the next 8 weeks. But okay, vaccination is very crucial. Sometimes we also give them some vitamins, and the first days there are other things that we also combine and give them, so that at least you ensure. And we are also given where we buy, we are also given a list where you tick every after the first 5 days, this is what you do. So you keep checking and tallying. this is the immunization you're supposed to give, this is the vaccine that you're supposed to give this vitamin. So we keep ticking. Then after 8 weeks now, we move them now to we prepare the other poultry houses, like now these ones. Now, so we have to count them again, and then now you fit them now to the right poultry houses. And when they are almost 2 months, also they are not very big, so sometimes you have to put like the sheds, like what you can see up there. But now when they are grown, you don't necessarily have to put them. But when they are small, you have to every evening you drop them so that the room is also warm. Then in the morning you also pull it up so that at least there is enough air coming in and out, so that at least they don't die of ammonia. Then after, now you have them separately. Basically after, when they're up to 8 weeks, you give them chick mash. Then after the 8 weeks, now you can change to growers, but you introduce slowly. You mix a bit. You don't introduce randomly. It's like you're winning them. You introduce kidogo kidogo until now you shift to growers. Then now you give them growers, and now when they are growers, you have to really feed them. When they are 3 months, now you have to do something we call thumping. It's like now you ensure every now and then there is feed. There are feeds on the feeders, such that they eat, they drink water, they rest. They eat, they drink water, then they rest. So that at least by the 4th month and by the 18th, 19th week, you can at least start seeing the first eggs, the smaller eggs. Then now at that time now again, okay, there are people nowadays who are doing lighting. I hear sometimes the first week, when you see the first egg, you extend the timings from like evening. You ensure there is lighting in the poultry house for like 1 hour, so that it's like you're extending the daytime, because it's said that during the day is when they are likely to they eat a lot, and it also interferes with their production, so that at least they are able to lay fast. But for us, we just do it the old school way. We just give them feeds, and ensure the rooms are clean. Not clean as in the clean you'd expect, but at least they are clean as we ensure there are no new things coming in there. And then after now we start seeing the first eggs. You wait until 20% of them are laying. When they lay up to 20%, now you can start introducing layers, kidogo kidogo. Up to now, again, you win them again now to layers mash. And when you get now to that stage, now you can almost relax. But before then, sorry, I forgot. After 2 months, after the 2 months, there in between, before you reach 3 months, there are some injections that you give on the wing and also on the thigh. One is for fowl-pox, the other one is forgotten, but I know those ones they are very important that you have to give. But basically that's it. There are people who usually debeak their poultry, but for us here we don't, because once we did it, and eventually they end up growing back again. And mostly what we've learned out of experience is that usually when they are really, when most people cut them so that they don't eat the eggs and they don't also harm the others. But we've realized when they do that, either they are stressed or there is maybe there is something that they are missing from their diet. So for us, we just give healthy, and sometimes when we see such, we supplement. Sometimes we boost with some vitamins, some enzymes, and then that's it.
A brooder is usually referred to as some type of heated enclosure for raising baby poultry, whether they're baby chicks, turkey, or goslings. A brooder usually includes a heat lamp, a source of food and water for the chicks, and bedding such as pine shavings. A screen enclosure is usually put on top to keep curious pets and kids out of the way. Some farmers prefer to buy the built brooders, and others seem to prefer to make their own chicken brooder. Which way did Steve go?
For the bigger ones, we don't use this one because they really encourage a lot of water spilling within the poultry houses. So this one for me, even if we had so many, but we no longer use them. We use the other Kenyan ones that I will show you down there.
When we come back from the break, find out how Steve built and sectioned his poultry to improve the quality of eggs.